From the shores of Malibu where the waves are pumping to the Great Wall of China and back to the streets of Las Vegas where UFC 264, Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier are coming. We are live. This is It's Time Radio, the show where we talk about what you think about, but may be afraid to voice. Don't worry, we'll voice it for you. We talk about everything on It's Time. UFC, politics, sex, drugs, rock and roll. It's No Holds Barred Radio, folks. And I'm here with my co-host and producer, TJ DeSantis. TJ, another day gone in and another week gone by.
I thought you were going to say another day, another dollar, which is really the buffer mantra in a lot of ways.
It is. I was trying to get away from the dollar for a second, but you wheeled me right back. Just when I wanted to get away, you wheeled me right back in. Another day, another dollar.
You level headed.
That's right. I'll take the dollars all day long. But like I said, it's not always about the dollars. I'll be the first to cash a check at the bank on a Monday, but it's about loving what you do. So speaking of loving what we do, we've got a very special guest on, a longtime friend, fantastic UFC fighter, man who's gone beyond his guns to prove himself in many areas, whether it's Dana White's show, along with Matt Serra, the lovingly funny Matt Serra. The two of them together are hilarious. Commentating, you name it, none other than Dean Thomas. Dean, how are you?
I'm good, man. Wow, that was quite the introduction. You haven't introduced me like that in years. And,
that wasn't really an introduction, Dean. You want an introduction? I'll give you an introduction.
Give it.
That was good.
We need it.
That was the introduction that I love. You know, just something simple and subtle. I love it. Just to have you say my name, that's enough for me.
I appreciate it. Dean. You know, I've known you a long time, fighting and otherwise. Now I'm realizing that I do know you a long time because you got some frosty in your beard, baby. Look at that.
I know, man. You see this? This is crazy. Listen, it's just one day you look in the mirror and you're like, who is that guy? Right? I feel the same. I feel like I'm still 20 years old. All my friends are still 20 years old. I got to buy alcohol for all my friends. You know what I'm saying? But I got this gray. I'm old, and it's just kind of, I don't know. It sucks getting old.
I don't.
You know what? It's
Dean. You still act like you're 20 years old.
Yeah,
I know.
Dean, I'm still 20 years old in my heart. Trust me. But you know what? You can't hide Father Time. You look great, and just know one thing: the gray starts here, goes here, goes here, goes here, and just keeps on going down.
Keep going down, right? Just oh no.
That's why God made Manscaped.
I know. You know what? I think I might have to get that. You know, I don't use that yet.
Put it this way, Dean, from the looks of your beard, you may have to get it soon. No comment. All right, all kidding aside. You know, Dean, it's been great watching again. I always say this, the evolutionary process of one's career, but you know, I just think back to all the great fights that I introduced you in, and then I keep seeing you around the UFC campus. You're on Dana White's show, which you've been on now, what, like 4 or 5 years?
Yeah,
Matt?
4 or 5 years. Yeah.
Which I love the story, how it happened just on a whim.
Tell it. I want to hear it.
Yeah, so, you know, it was actually when Amanda Nunes was training for Miesha Tate. I was in her camp. I was helping her train for that fight. And I get a phone call. And I don't never answer my phone anyway. So I see a call from a 702 number. And I'm thinking, oh no, who could this be? Probably a bill collector from Vegas, somebody I owe money to, you know, some lady's husband or something. So I just immediately just deleted it. And then I get a call a few seconds later. Matt Serra was like, yo, man, Dana's calling you. Answer the phone. And I'm like, oh no, Dana, what does Dana want? You know, and so I leave practice for a moment. I go into the little back and I call Dana and I'm like, yo, what's up, man? He's like, yo, you ever heard of the show Looking for a Fight? I said, yeah. He said, you like it? I said, yeah. Meanwhile, I never watched it, you know what I'm saying? But I'm still like, yo, that's my show right there. That's my gig.
Listen to you.
Yeah, right. So so he was like, well, we had a guy fall out and, you know, we need a replacement. Matt recommended you. And I was like, that's cool. That's what's up. He said, I'm in. He said, problem is you got to leave tomorrow. I said, I got a bag in the car and my passport is with me at all times. Just send a ticket. And they did. I told Amanda, hey, I got to leave camp for a few days. And boom, I was out filming with Dana and Matt. And 5 years in the making, here I am still with the team.
I kind of feel like, Dean, you still haven't gone home from that initial trip, because every time I talk to you, you're in a different place. You still got that bag with the passport. It's like you're a rambling man in the most honest of ways.
Yeah, George Masvidal once said that I had 7 passports and a mini golden gun in my bag.
You know what? You did the right thing, though. When Hollywood calls you, whether it's through Dana White or through otherwise, yo, I love that show. Yes, I'm ready to go. I'm packed. Send me the taxi. I'm ready to go. There's no other way to go about it. If you want it, you're ready. Period. Like a fight. When they call you up and they go, "We need you to fight," I'm ready. We need you to be on TV. I'm ready.
I've done that a few times with Dean. I'm like, "Hey, Dean, you want to go to Columbus, Georgia, and call some MMA fights?" And he's like, "Yep, I'm good. Let me go."
And I think that's what gets me over on most people is that a lot of people hesitate to make a decision. I don't hesitate to make a decision. My instinct is to say yes right away. It's say yes, and then maybe later I'll turn it down. But I'm always going to say yes to every opportunity, and then make sure it's the one for me. But even if it's not, I'm probably still going to do it because you never know where it could come from.
What is the proper title of the show? Because I hear 3 different titles in my head.
It's a Dana White looking for a fight.
Right. Okay. So Dana's got 2 shows on. He's got the Contender Series,
right,
and he's got this. Is that where it ends right there?
I mean, I don't know. Anywhere Dana is, it's the Dana White show. But I like to think of it as the Dean Thomas and Matt Serra show. To be honest with you.
Well, that's basically what it is.
We're gonna
podcast.
Dean,
are you in the podcast with Matt?
No, but I go on there once, at least once a month. They have me come on and just kick it with Matt and Jim. So, and it's always a good time because Matt's so funny. He steals the show, and I just I feed him the information. I just feed him and feed him and feed him. So like that's the relationship we got.
Yeah, I've had more than a few fun times with Matt Serra. That's for sure. No question.
I don't think it's possible to have a bad time with Dean or Matt, like together or separate. Like they're just a good time.
It's not. Always smiling, always laughing, always happy. Dean, with all the shows happening in UFC, TJ and I talk about it all the time. We've gone through COVID. We were the first ones back, showing the world how to have events and be COVID safety protocol to the best as possible. And I think that literally in the last 2 years with COVID, the shows have been consistently the greatest string and run of consistent quality action-filled UFCs ever. I mean, it just seems like the talent is getting better and better and better. Who do you think are 3 of the top up-and-comers going for championship belts? And I'm talking like really just even starting out. Who do you think are 3 of the top guys coming out?
Wow,
and girls.
Guys and girls. Wow, that's a really tough question because there's so many talented people. So you mean like, who do I think is in the running maybe for a belt, or who I think is just going to be good in the future?
It's kind of a combination of the two. So let's just say on their way to potentially going for the belt. Obviously, if they're going to be great in the future, you have a shot at the belt.
So, and this one's kind of weird, but I actually think, and depending on what happens next week, I actually think Gilbert Burns could be making a comeback in terms of going for another shot at the belt. If he gets past Wonder Boy. I think if he gets past Wonder Boy, which is a very tough matchup, then I think he has the skill set to beat everybody else and still challenge Usman and give Usman a better fight next time. I think Gilbert Burns is supremely talented and such a great competitor.
How many fights, though, Dean, would he have to go back to before he gets Usman again? Because Wonder Boy's not going to put him back in that title fight right away.
No, he's not going to put him back in that title fight. But I think, if he beats him and then, he may have to beat Leon or something, but, 2 or 3 more fights, I think that he can definitely make a run again. I think he's extremely talented, man.
Wonder Boy and Leon Edwards victories for Gilbert Burns, I think would be enough in my opinion. I don't know if it's, enough in Dana's opinion or the casual consumer's opinion, but I like that pick a lot, actually.
Well, it'd have to be because, Gilbert's rated the number 2 contender now. Steven's number 4. He'll stay at number 2, basically, if he beats Steven. Leon Edwards, if I'm not mistaken, is number 1. So you're right. I mean, that would put him right in the position of a contention for another championship shot.
With Gilbert Burns, like how many contenders, up-and-coming contenders, would you want him to basically dispatch before you give him what he probably already deserves? You know what I mean? You don't want him to kill the pecking order before you give him another title fight.
Agreed.
True.
Agreed, not being the powers that be, I agree. Let me put it that way.
Also, I think a guy that we have to look out for is Brad Rydell. I really like what he did against
Rydell.
Yeah, Brad Rydell. I really like his fight against Drew Dober what he did against Drew Dober, because I thought he fought a really tough guy, and Drew Dober is one of the most devastating punchers in that division. Like if Drew Dober hits you, you're going out. You know what I'm saying?
No
and
question.
him being able to take those shots told me something about him, that he's going to be hard to put away. As long as his grappling holds up, I think he's going to make a good run. I think he's going to have a really good run in that lightweight division.
How do you feel about Sean? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
How do you feel about Sean O'Malley in the bantamweight division?
I like Sean, but I gotta see him against some of them top 10 killers,
Yeah.
You gotta see him. He's devastating. He's devastating on the A side, but I don't know how well his defense holds up. Like his offense is almost better than anybody's, but defensively, I don't know how well it holds up.
Yeah, I'm a fan of his. I also think it's also how well he holds up.
Right. No, exactly.
Yeah. His talent outranges sometimes his physical. How do I say it?
Well, I worry about.
You know what I'm saying? He has a tendency to get hurt.
Yeah. No, his legs are a bit of a concern.
Yeah, he's pretty frail.
I mean, no fighter likes hearing that, but like he's also a leg attack heavy sort of fighter. So if he all of a sudden has to sort of worry about throwing the kicks that he does for fear of being checked because he could get injured, I mean, you're taking away a big part of his game.
Yeah, a big part. But I'm really a big fan. I love the way he fights, but the durability is the issue, I think, beyond anything else.
I've got a couple questions on that prospect sort of pick. One, we'll start with someone you've cornered against, Dean. Miranda Maverick is really an up-and-coming fighter that I think a lot of people are starting to take notice of. We haven't seen her really tested too much. I think Jillian Robertson is the highest level of opposition she's faced thus far. But I'm curious what you think the future holds for Miranda Maverick.
Well, in fact, I'm going to find out firsthand. I'm going out to see her next weekend. Or next week. Yeah. So me and Jillian are going out to see her next week. She's going to train with her a little bit. But I like Miranda Maverick. I mean, she's got all the tools. I mean, she's got the mentality. She's got the physicality. She's always getting better. And that's what you look for in a fighter. Can they get better? It's not how they look today, but it's their aptitude to getting better for tomorrow. And she possesses that. So we know that she's good. It's just a matter of that luck. It's like getting the right opponents at the right time, winning those fights with, and passing that test with flying colors. I mean, so far she's been perfect. So yep. I think that the sky's the limit for her. I really do like where she's going. I mean, obviously she's fighting Macy Barber, who's going to be a tough fight for her. But if she gets past that, then I think that she's just going to keep steamrolling.
Yeah, and then the other name I wanted to kind of pick your brain about, like we've seen a small sample size. He's had a pretty good run thus far, but Yuri Prochazka has come into the UFC and has just taken the world by storm. What are your thoughts on?
Yeah. I mean,
a lot of unknowns there.
It's a lot of unknowns there, but it's also the division too, man. Like when you come in at either light heavyweight or heavyweight, you can come in and make that type of noise and be that type of fighter because it's not that deep. Like when you talk about the depth chart,
for example.
Yeah, like there's not a real deep chart. It's like 5 guys and then everybody else. So you can come in and challenge that top 5 and make your wave. But I mean, obviously, I think he's talented, and I think that he's got just as good a chance as anybody else.
In the heavyweight division, Francis Ngannou, of course, standing at the top of the mountain right now, about to take on Gane, right? Is that the fight that's been signed?
He doesn't have a fight right now. He's kind of waiting in the wings. There's going to be an interim title coming up between Derek Lewis.
They are going to do an interim title.
Yeah,
why are they going to do an interim title when Ngannou's sitting there waiting for somebody to fight?
I am not the boss. I don't know.
Well,
I'm not arguing the point. I'm just wondering,
Yeah, there was beef about that on the internet between Dana and Markel Martin, Francis Ngannou's manager.
Right.
That they're having that interim title. But I mean, to be honest with you, like, why? I mean, they shouldn't really care all that much. It's not like they're stripping Francis. They're just doing a little title fight. The winner of that's going to fight Francis anyway. He's still the champ.
It's more of a real token of who the number one contender is in a roundabout way. Like, I don't think anybody's going to be looking at Francis Ngannou as less of a champion because either Derek Lewis or Cyril Gane holds an interim belt. It's not that much of a shot across the bow per se. But honestly, I'm surprised that we haven't gotten a more firm sort of result in getting John Jones in there with Francis. I think that is largely why we're maybe not seeing Francis fight right now.
You
Maybe.
know, how did Derek Lewis fall out of the mix? I thought they were making Derek Lewis in Ngannou.
I heard that too, but I think there was some debate about whether Francis was ready in a certain timeline, something like that.
It was a timing issue. It was a timing issue. Yeah, because Francis had been in Cameroon visiting his family.
Yep.
And wanted to fight in September, but they wanted Derek Lewis to fight in Houston on August 7th. Francis couldn't be ready for then, so then they said, "All right, well then we're going to give the fight to Gane," and Gane took it. And that would probably be my third pick in terms of type belt holders. Gane, he looks fantastic. I really love what he's doing as a heavyweight. I mean, he really looks sharp as a heavyweight.
Well, speaking of heavyweights, in 264, we've got Tai Tuivasa and Greg Hardy going at it, which I think will be a very entertaining fight. Do you see Ty or Greg even having a shot eventually at a championship bout?
No, I don't.
I mean, they have a shot, but do you see it ever happening?
I don't. Yeah, they have a shot, but a very small one. And the reason why is just because, again, remember what I was saying about Miranda Maverick is that she showed the ability to improve each time, and she's getting better each time. I just don't know if their progress is keeping up with what it takes to be a champion.
Right.
So, they're getting better. They're good and they're getting better. But when you think about them fighting a guy like, Francis or John Jones or Stipe, it's like, man, I don't know if they're ever going to be at that level.
Right. That's sort of been the problem, though, at heavyweight, right? Like the number 1 to number 3 have always been sort of leaps and bounds ahead of 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, who are all kind of that same sort of, cast of fighter. But the elite, the top 3 at heavyweight, they're just a different breed than most of the rest of the division.
They are, but also too, with Ty and Greg, it reminds me of like Ernie Shavers in boxing. Everybody had to go through Ernie Shavers coming up. So I see a lot of fighters facing down Greg Hardy and Tai Tuivasa on their way up. Kind of cornerstones of the heavyweight division. Always be active, always like entertaining fights. Status. Pardon me?
Like a gatekeeper status. We were talking about that. I think it was you and I, Dean, talking about Alexei Olenek, who is sort of a gatekeeper in a way where, if you're good enough to beat Alexei, then you're probably good enough to be fighting someone in the top 15, top 10 to sort of really prove to everyone, where you are. But you got to get past sort of that stalwart of a division, a guy who's been fighting for 20 years or whatever. And there's nothing wrong with that gatekeeper status. I get what you're saying.
Nothing wrong with that.
You got to pass that test because a guy like Olenek is because he has that grappling ability to show, like, if you can't get past his grappling, then you can't be a champion.
Right.
And there's a lot of guys who I think they couldn't get past that test.
Well, the fear of his grappling shuts down a lot of people's confidence in their striking ability.
Oh, for sure. That's why because Alexei is a terrible striker. And I hate to say that, but he's a terrible striker. But he's able to keep guys from coming at him because they're afraid of getting taken down. So he neutralizes their offense just by that threat.
His duck down, followed by his overhand, semi-Chuck Liddell style, right?
Right, yeah.
He throws that a lot.
That's the thing. Chuck tried to throw it with the intention of knocking your lights out. Olenek throws it to try to get into a clinch.
Exactly. To try and get in a clinch and take you down. It's very interesting watching it the other day. Let's talk about a couple fighters that have been around a long time that are shining more now than ever. Obviously, one is Carlos Condit. He's got a heck of a fight against Max Griffin. Should be very entertaining coming up at 264. Jessica Aya's back against Jennifer Maia on the lower end prelim cards.
That's crazy. That's a prelim fight. I mean, that's a
you got Brad Tavares on the prelims against Amari Akhmedov.
Yeah.
Akhmedov. I mean,
yeah.
It's a crazy stacked card, as we know.
Maya and I, though, is a frigging co-main event on
no question
ESPN
on a fight night. No question. And then, Carlos is looking great. He's coming back. Just always great to watch fight. But, I put Dustin Poirier in the same thing. Dustin, and the way he's improved over the last few years, now in the trilogy fight, the big, huge money fight against Conor McGregor. I'm always made the best man win. Conor's coming in at number 5 contender. Of course, Dustin, number 1. With that being said, this is a lightweight bout. Okay. How do you see this bout?
To me, I think Conor is probably the more talented of the two. I think he's just a talented. What's that?
That's interesting. Because I think Dustin's more well-rounded.
Yeah, for sure. Dustin is more well-rounded, but I think Conor's a little bit more talented in terms of his craft. But here's the thing. There's no way you can look at the Forbes magazine, see your name above LeBron James and Cristiano Ronaldo, and still have any ounce of dog left in you. There's absolutely no way. And Dustin is an absolute dog. Dustin is a dog. He will fight you in a parking lot. Conor will fight you in a parking lot if you're weak. Dustin will fight anybody in a parking lot. That's the difference between the two. Conor's kind of a bully. Dustin is a real dog. I can't imagine Conor being able to put in the work that it takes to beat a guy like Dustin in the trilogy. Even though I think he's talented, I just can't see it happening. I can't see him being a dog no more.
What are you saying that you're seeing that Dustin's going to win this fight?
Yeah.
How can he not be the favorite? I mean, you talk about momentum.
They're even
so important, but he's. I don't care what the odds are going to say. Conor is always going to be a bigger favorite than he should be, even if he's the underdog. He's going to be a bigger favorite than he should be because of the popularity and the way that people will bet with their hearts in combat sports. For me, when you look at the two fights that they've had, yes, they were both decisive, but Dustin's happened not that long ago. And the fact that we're doing it so close, that the length of time between matches 2 and 3 are this close, I don't know if Conor, you can mix it with maybe the hunger aspect of things. I don't know if Conor can make the proper adjustments needed to turn around and pull off this win. Like, let's not forget about what Dustin did to Conor's leg. Like, I don't know how you fix that quickly.
He made
you can fix that.
World famous.
Yeah, you can fix that. He can fix that. He can get away from that. I think that Conor used to fight a style that would kind of neutralize that, because he used to be a little bit more bouncy on his feet and wouldn't leave his legs just sitting there.
True.
He's heavy on his legs now because he's boxing. But I think he can fix that part. But I just think that, like, if Dustin starts to put pressure on him, like the same way I think he just gives up, man. I don't see Conor being able to, like, withstand Dustin's pressure and the storm and being able to come back. I just think that Dustin's going to put pressure on him eventually, and Conor's going to fold.
It's hard. See, this is the one thing. When you look at the Chad Mendes fight with Conor, Mendes gassed, and Conor was able to weather that storm and come back. But besides that time, when have we really seen Conor weather a storm and then take over a fight? I'm not saying that he's a quitter by any means, but no. I can't get it out of my mind when Nate Diaz took over in that fight and got Conor down and put him in that rear naked. It seemed like Conor had already sort of accepted the fact that he had lost the fight before Nate had even solidified taking his back. So there's something to be said about Conor going, look, I'm out of this one. Let's just call it a day and get out of here.
Conor's used to dominating the first 2 or 3 rounds of a fight and winning a fight. It goes past the second or third round. It's almost like a Tyson syndrome, then it goes the length of the fight to the judge's decision. It's like when Tyson faced a quality boxer, he wasn't finishing him off in 2 or 3 rounds, the way he normally finished off every person he ever faced. I don't know if that's a proper analogy for Conor.
Can either of you point to a time where Conor's weathered a storm outside of Mendes and come back and won? I can't think of it.
I can't.
No, but even with the Mendes fight, so and I can speak to this from experience. I remember when I was fighting Mishima in Japan many years ago, and he was beating my tail. He was really kicking my butt, but I could hear him breathing heavy. And that was the only thing that kept me in the fight, was the fact that I had a feeling he was going to get tired. Otherwise, I would have been like, all right, man, you win. You know what I'm saying? Because there was no way from a skill perspective that I was able to hang with him. And there's something to be said about that. When Conor was fighting Mendes, Conor was probably like, man, this dude's breathing heavy. He's going to get tired. I'm going to stick around and see what happens. And that's what happened. He knew he was getting tired, so he stuck around. Had Mendes been bouncing around, Conor probably would have folded.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't argue that point. Can't argue that point at all.
It's interesting that you're that aware of their breathing. Like, you can pick up on that in the middle of chaos like that.
Oh, you got to be a good fighter to do that.
Yeah, you got to be aware. I mean, a good fighter should be aware of everything. Everything.
Yeah.
From the look in the eyes to everything. I don't need to go through it, Dean. You know exactly what I'm talking about. It's not just throwing punches, man. You got to be cerebral and dealing with the mental aspects of that fight.
You got to see it. You got to feel it. You got to hear it. Everything.
And play with it. Get in his head. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. It's a chess match.
Yeah, totally. Okay, we're all excited about UFC. This weekend's off. Last weekend, Gane fight and all that kind of stuff. I was not there for it. It was an exciting night of fights. Looking forward to this. Let's go into some other things that are happening. You want to share some news stories with us, Dean? Can you hang with us for a sec?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. Want to tell you a little something. I'll let the cat out of the bag, but I'm working on some NFL teams, guys.
Really?
Oh, what you doing?
I may be doing something with the Raiders.
Never heard of them.
You ever heard of them?
No, they're in Vegas now. That makes a lot of sense. Fight capital of the world, Bruce Buffer, the Raiders.
I'm just going to leave it at that. I'll have some exciting news for you.
Is this breaking news? Did you go be doing something for the Raiders?
This is semi-negotiation news.
I love it, but if you're talking about it, that's good, man. Congratulations.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it very much. Yeah, I'm excited. Football season. I love appearing for the NBA, NHL, football, even the WNBA. I've done things with them too. Anytime I can branch out into other forms of sports with other athletes, it's all really, really cool.
I mean, it's all about getting those athletes hyped up, Bruce, and it's weird the sort of impact you have on just people as a whole. You know how to drive energy, and it's a skill to say the least.
Thank you very much, TJ. I appreciate it. Just trying to do the best job I can. That's all I can do in life is go out there and do the best I can, like all of us. They finally convicted Derek Chauvin, 22 and a half years. Maximum 30. Yeah, it's amazing though, with all the charges against him, the maximum was only 30 years. So they gave him 22 and a half. Now I'm hearing rumors of a plea bargain, and that could change. And and parole, he could be out.
You can't have a plea bargain when you've already been convicted.
Going on now. There was some news about something, but you know what? Just throw the max at this man. I'm surprised he didn't get the full 30. But there's always that parole issue.
This is what I will say. Obviously, I think he belongs in jail for as long as they can keep him there. But the bottom line is, whenever he does get released, if he makes it through that sentence and comes out the other side, like, it's not going to be, duckies and bunnies for the man. It's going to be a life of essential solitude, unemployment. And I don't know, he's probably going to have to go have a cabin in the woods if he wants to have any sort of normalcy, because no one's going to want to be associated with this man in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And let's put it this way. When he's in jail, he's going to be in solitary. He's not going to be in public.
No. And again, the solitary confinement, in my opinion, Bruce, is not going to end in prison. It's going to continue when he's allowed to, live and breathe and walk beside the rest of us. He's just no one's going to want to be around him.
And
I don't know. I can't imagine people kind of remembering that in 22 years from now.
I don't know, man. Maybe. I mean, he's going to have to leave Minneapolis. He's going to have to, completely relocate and hope that no one notices. I don't know if a name change helps or what, but he's not going to have any sort of semblance of his old life.
The world's a funny thing. You could see a book, you could see a movie, you could see anything at that time, or you could see absolutely nothing. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, that's just the news. The other big news that happened today is that Bill Cosby's getting out of jail.
What?
He's getting out of jail and cleared on all charges.
No.
What? You're lying.
Okay. You ready?
This is crazy to me. This is mind-blowing.
This is breaking news. The conviction. Yep. The conviction has been thrown out. His former TV wife, Felicia Rashad, celebrating his release, saying finally, claiming a miscarriage of justice has been corrected. The spokesperson, Andrew Wyatt, for the family spokesperson, tells us the decision was a surprise to his family and everyone else. Basically, just learned about the court's decision that, let's see here, his conviction has been overturned.
Why?
He's going free.
On the grounds of
Two
what?
reasons why the conviction could not stand. The judge allowed prosecutors to call 5 other accusers during the trial, it says. And Cosby should never have been criminally prosecuted based on the agreement he made with the former DA. On the first reason, the Pennsylvania High Court ruled it was unduly prejudicial to allow 5 women with stories similar to one of the defendants, Andrea Costan, to testify, trying to show Cosby had an MO for drugging women and then assaulting them sexually. Right. The second reason, which was fought hard during the trial, is that the former DA, Bruce Castor, cut a deal with Cosby that if he testified in a civil deposition, he would not face trial criminally. Well, during that deposition, he made incriminating statements about drugging women that was presented at the trial. The Supreme Court ruled then the deal was broken by prosecutors. Okay. The judge vacated both the conviction and the sentence and ordered the 83-year-old discharged immediately, presumably. Cosby is now a free man. He cannot be retried. He served 2 years. And right now,
Is he-
his team is on his way to pick him up from prison. He's getting out today.
Isn't he suffering from dementia or something like that? I don't think he's like all that well.
I really don't know. At 83, God knows what's happening. But this is just a total travesty of justice. If this is an example of our criminal court system and everything going on, I don't know what else to say. I just think it's
Well,
disgusting.
I guess it goes back to the idea of like statute of limitations. There's no statute of limitations on murder. There shouldn't be statute of limitations on rape or sexual assault either.
God, no.
And
God,
there are, unfortunately.
Oh my God, I can't believe he's getting out.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
But again, going back to like that Chauvin example, like what's Bill Cosby's life going to be like the rest of the way? It doesn't matter. I mean, it matters, but it doesn't. He's not going to have any sort of life that brings him wealth or fame. Like he's infamous forever, and that's a stain that doesn't go away.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be bad.
Yeah, time will tell. We'll see. But anyway, I don't know what else to say. I'm just like, this is breaking news. It's like, holy Jesus.
Bruce, that if you would have lined up like multiple like breaking news stories with one being it's Judgment Day, I would have picked Judgment Day over Bill Cosby's getting out of prison. I'm not even kidding you. That's mind blowing.
I know. I didn't see that coming at all.
No.
Like I didn't even know he was up for it. I thought he was like going to die in jail.
Seriously.
Like I didn't even know he was up for this.
Speaking of arrests, did you guys see the start of the Tour de France when the lady held out the sign and it caused like 45 or 40 plus racers to crash, and one guy separated his shoulder and wound up getting back in the race. It happened 45 kilometers from the finish of the first stage of the race on Saturday. Did you see that thing?
I did. Can I just say that bicycling?
She got, just so you know, she got arrested. They arrested her.
I saw that. Yeah. Bicycling has got to be like the most dangerous sport that no one thinks is really that dangerous. You know, you're going that fast, you're wearing next to nothing, and then you smash your face into the friggin' asphalt. Like, nope.
Yeah, and these guys ride like this far apart from each other.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
It's crazy. I'm like, dude.
Yep.
Yeah,
All right, let's do a little COVID talk here, guys. We haven't talked COVID for a while on the show.
We have to.
Right now, they're questioning the mask mandates and everything else because of the Delta variant that's coming in.
Well, they're changing constantly. Like I think even LA County was saying that you didn't need to wear a mask if you were vaccinated, but now because of the Delta, whatever, what do they call it? A strain that they're making everyone, variant. Thank you. That they're making everyone wear masks again, whether or not you've been inoculated, it doesn't matter.
Well, personally, I think that you should in the right situation. I'm still not comfortable in group situations. Steve Aoki wants me to appear with him in Hakkasan after UFC 264 a week from Saturday. And quite frankly, I don't want to walk through a club. I don't want to walk through a whole bunch of people coming in from all over the country, you know, even though I can go in the back way and the VIP way and still got to walk around 100 people to get to where I'd have to go. I don't feel comfortable.
Well,
are you vaccinated?
Pardon me?
Are you vaccinated?
Yeah, I'm vaccinated with the Johnson & Johnson. Now I'm hearing that the Johnson & Johnson vaccine may need a booster. I mean, things are changing all the time. Who knows,
man? This is never going to end. Like, honestly.
Well, here, let me tell you something here. A very close friend of mine, I'm not going to mention the name, went to Florida 3 weeks ago to do an event. Pfizer vaccinated for 3 months. Right. Came back, felt sick on Monday, tested positive for COVID on Wednesday.
No, that's not supposed to be the way it works.
It is. You can still get it. Now, granted, they're compromised. Their next cancer survivor. And, you know, normally without the vaccine, they probably would have wound up in the hospital, God knows what. So at least it kept them out of the hospital. But, you know, this person's been coughing every day and dealing with it and not been able to leave the house for 2 weeks.
So I took my son to Legoland over the weekend. It was his 10th birthday. And we're walking in and it says, all children under 12 need to be masked. We get 10 feet into the door. Okay. 10 feet in the door. And the photographer there that wants to like take your picture and then charge you money for it is like, all right, we'll take your picture. You can take off your masks. And it's just like, okay, this is dumb. Like, don't even put up the signs. Like, stop it. Like, if you're going to the damn theme park, you don't care. All right. You don't.
I go through a little bit of stuff.
Well, it depends on, you know, like out here in California, I tend to wear it everywhere just because it like, honestly, even in places, I think Bruce, you'll probably attest to this. If you go to like a Whole Foods or a grocery store, you walk in and you can not wear your mask, but even if you are allowed to, you know, roam maskless, you're like the only guy in the entire place without a mask on. And then I don't want to be that guy that's getting weird looks.
Well, I'm not worried about being that guy. I understand what you're saying. I'm just worried about doing what's right. like last weekend, I had a weekend off, had a great weekend. My friend and I, we went hiking. I went to my old place in Malibu where I grew up and swam in the ocean and just had a great day. Then on Sunday, I went down to where my friend is a parachutist and parachutes. And she and I did the wind tunnel down there, which I know you've done, Dean, in Abu Dhabi.
What the hell's a
What-
wind?
You know, the
give me-
skydiver wind tunnel.
Oh, indoor skydiving.
Yeah,
that's the
so
one
I did that.
I had COVID that episode and I didn't go.
Oh, you didn't go?
That's right.
Oh, really? Oh, you had COVID. That's right. It was so much fun, Dean. I'm now going to do a tandem skydive,
Oh,
and
really?
maybe I'll go do solo.
like a real
I don't know.
skydive?
Yeah,
Really? All right.
yeah. I sat there, watched them all come down. I have a fear of heights, as you know.
That's why you don't jump out of an
my
airplane.
friend-
Bruce.
What's that?
That's why you don't jump out of
Jumping
an
out of a
airplane.
perfect.
Like you're
Jumping out
talking
of a
about I have
perfectly
fear of
good
heights. Like you're saying I have a fear of heights, like it's an example of as to why you should skydive. Like no, that's why you don't skydive.
Yeah, it's like overcoming the fear. I mean, if I have a tandem jump, I'll be more comfortable because you're kind of just sitting there like a baby, or the guy's doing all the work. But it's definitely going to cure a fear. But when I got in the wind tunnel, I was able to handle it, which they say is almost exactly like what it's like up there.
Yeah,
I don't
except
know.
the floor is like 20 feet below you rather than 20,000. Like,
Wait, I went 30 feet up, so I'm even more prepared now.
okay, bro.
You went 30 feet up?
All right.
30 feet up. Yeah, they
I
kept
mean,
going
here's-
up and down and up and down. It was a lot of fun.
Here's my thing, Bruce. You say you're going to overcome a fear. Like, I hope you overcome the fear, because if your fears are confirmed, like, I hope I'm high up on that will, Buff.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's overcoming the fear. Let's put it this way: facing the fear. Facing the fear. I can surf a big wave, but it's just there's something about tall buildings and stuff like that just really get to me.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Especially if I'm looking over. Well, I'm a little crazy, Dean. That's just
Yeah,
some
but
of the
like-
territory.
Surfing and going to the ocean seems way worse than heights.
Oh, I completely agree
Yeah.
with you. Like heights are scary, but like the ocean, I have to swim. When I'm afraid of heights, I don't have to do anything and I'm safe.
And the
Swimming's
ocean,
scary.
We'll see what happens. We'll see
No,
what
no.
happens. If I do it, I'll get video. But I'm just saying I had a really good time this weekend out of Mother Nature. And then, we went to like a restaurant. I was around people without the mask outside. But I get these guilt feelings when I'm around a crowd, without the mask. I'm thinking, now, should I really be going around to see my mother, for the next 5
That's
days? Do I
different.
need to go wait 5 days to get tested? I'm still in that mode.
I
Still
understand
in
that,
that
Bruce.
mode.
That's
And I'll tell you what.
Like, I mean, besides your mother, though, you don't feel guilty, right? Or do you feel
Well, I
guilty
don't want
going
to
out
give
in
it to
public?
anybody.
I respect that.
I just think that I just think I have a responsibility to the people around me. I really do.
You know what, Bruce?
Until I know for sure.
I wish I was as good of a guy as you. I really do.
I respect that.
I have
But-
to. When I see people, including my mom who got COVID just from one of her caregivers that came in the house, and I see other people and my gardener who died from it, and all that I've seen personally, we all have a 6 degrees of separation. That's the past in the heavy pandemic, but I think we're still in the past and the present, and we should be safe. Just be smart. I'm just saying, be smart. Right now, COVID is killing Brazilian children at alarming rates down in Brazil.
Right. I mean, in Brazil, it's really scary. And the
Still?
UK,
Really good. Now,
the UK is bad too.
UK's bad. There was an incident here. 80 teens and staffers at an Illinois camp for kids all got COVID during a camp weekend. Right?
Yeah.
Again, you don't know who's vaccinated. You don't know who's not.
And
But-
again, that's the thing too, Bruce. Like your friend who went to Florida, it also apparently doesn't matter if you're vaccinated.
Jesus.
It doesn't. It doesn't. I asked Dr. Dave about it, and he said, well, you can still get it. You just won't get it as bad. Okay. Still don't want lung damage. I still don't want partial damage. I
Right,
still don't want any of that.
And that's the thing too. If you're young, it sounds like it's not going to be all that bad to begin with. So what does the shot even do if you're that young? If the, it's not going to be bad if I get it, but if you're also in the age demographic that if you do get it, it's not that bad to begin with. It's like, wait, why am I taking this shot that gets me sick? Like, I don't know. I'm not saying to not take the shot or to take the shot. I mean, I'm vaccinated. I think it's probably a good idea that everyone gets vaccinated, but it's just, I don't know, man. Like we're so far into this thing and it still doesn't seem like it's ending anytime soon.
I just still think we're all guinea pigs in the process, and we're learning day by day. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I think so too. I think they're just making this as we go along. It's like, all right, let's just start giving people shots and see how it works.
You know what? Jump out of a plane, Bruce. It doesn't matter.
Okay. No worries. Dean will be your co-host if I can't make it.
He's already my co-host on Extra Rounds.
Well, that's why you can get him into this one real easy if you need him. Got to have backup in case the buff doesn't make it. What can I say? Oh my God, I just pulled a Tito Ortiz. I talked about myself in the third party. Excuse me.
The buff. Got himself the buff.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a lot of things that Tito did that you haven't done, so you're still good.
Yeah, I won't run for city council. Okay, we're good. Here's a really cool thing, guys. This is like, for instance, this falls under the onus or the aegis of my new company, millions.co. Where we're teaching people how to brand. Actually, it'd be a great thing for you too, Dean. I'll have to
plug alert. Plug alert.
Plug alert. No, I'm going to get away from the plug alert, but you know how we're helping athletes brand themselves, market themselves. Mm-hmm. Check out millions.co, Dean. You'll see what I'm talking about.
For Dean. Dean,
it would be really good for Dean.
Dean is a whole new. Dean's a renaissance man, like literally. Like the man sent me a candle. Like he can do it all. Dean, you probably should get your own clothing line.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, really? No, I'm
you don't have your own clothes or T-shirts, Dean?
Bruce will make it happen.
I'm not going to go into right now, but I'll send you something out of the show, and you can take a look at it. I think it's perfect for you. Yeah, what we do at this site at millions.co is that anybody can sign up fighters. We're going to take every athlete there is, volleyball, baseball, football, hockey,
curling,
anything. It's going to be all the way around. It's exploding right out of the gate. But even the NCAA, this is really cool. The NCAA now is recommending the council that college students, now think about this, they aren't able to do this. They can now market themselves. Right?
That's huge.
Oh, yeah.
It's huge. They're recommending allowing athletes to make money off their name, image, and likeness.
That's huge because right now, if you're a college football player or a basketball player, you can't even run a Twitch channel. Like, think about that. That's crazy.
Yeah, this is a huge move by the NCAA, and I think very deserving. And it should not affect the amateur status of any of these athletes.
No. I mean, can you imagine being one of the best amateur basketball players, but you're not allowed to have a vlog on YouTube because it'll make money?
No,
that's crazy. That's so silly to me.
Yeah,
I would be mad. I would legit be mad.
Oh, but don't worry, Dean. We're giving you a $25,000 a year scholarship so that if this whole athletic thing doesn't work, you might be able to get a job somewhere.
I'd be like, you know what? I'll make more than that on my Twitch and pay for my school. You know what I'm saying?
Seriously.
Wow, Dean's spreading out. He's making the cash. I love it.
You know what? Yeah. That's actually something that is quite interesting when I think about it. If you are a really good basketball player and say you have one solid year, maybe not basketball because normally you play 1 year of basketball and then you go to the pros. Say college football. Say you're the quarterback of USC. You're on scholarship. You have a really great year. It's clear that you're going to be their starting quarterback for the next 3 years. I wonder if you don't say, you know what? Screw it. I no longer want to accept your scholarship. I'll pay the tuition and I'm going to go market the hell out of myself. I'm surprised no one's ever done that.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they probably couldn't because I'm sure somebody had to have thought about that before.
Right. Like once you accept the scholarship, you're on the hook of being a scholarship athlete for the duration of your probably.
Yeah. But for me, I would be like, you know what? Like if you're a good high school student, then it's time to really start pushing it. Seeing what you can do.
You know, you're out there, you're listen, we all want to make money in college. I think it's important. You're a dedicated athlete, the training they put through, the time dedication, the opportunity cost of time you need to compete and stay on the top level in the NCAA and in the sport and field of your choice. It's not like you can suddenly go out along with your class of studying and everything else. Now you're going to be a busboy or a waiter for 6 or 8 hours a day, and which can interfere with everything. This is the whole entrepreneurial spirit. Let these guys have their own sites. Let them make some coin from their own followers. I'm sure many of these college students have, like you, Dean, you know, a couple 100,000 or more followers. How many followers do you have on your Instagram?
Oh, no, I don't have that many. But
it doesn't matter. Even if you have 100,000 or 50,000, even your fans that want to know about you.
Yeah, for sure.
These NCAA students should have a right to make money.
Okay, think about this. Let's go back a few years. Let's think about Tim Tebow for a moment. Okay, remember him? He was the college football quarterback for the
University just at the UFC in Houston or whatever.
Right. Yeah. I mean, so he's been out of college for a while, but when he was in college, 1 year of tuition at Florida cost $21,211. You're trying to tell me that Tim Tebow couldn't make that in tuition, like make that and pay his own tuition? To have
making that a week.
Seriously,
smart. I'm sure he could.
Yeah, but like it's interesting. Like I wonder if we don't see that movement in the future where these really skilled athletes end up just saying, you know, screw it, I'll figure out how to pay my tuition myself, or I'll just take out the student loan debt and make money? Because I understand that college debt will cripple most people at this point. But if you're a star athlete, I mean, you'll come out, you might make more money being a college football player than you would be. Well, actually, hang on. That's the question. If you're a college athlete, it doesn't have anything to do with tuition, does it? It's just the fact that you're not allowed to be a college player and make money. That's what it is. I'm wrong. I'm thinking the scholarship is the tipping point, but it's not.
No, this is all about just making money for your own personal usage and lifestyle.
So wait, there are non-scholarship athletes that are going into massive debt and are still not allowed to make money while they're playing.
Yeah, well, now they're untying their hands. Now you can make money. And think about the money. You're a top college athlete. The pros are looking at. There's TV commercials, there's product endorsements, and that's what I'm reading into this. And I think it's a great thing. I think it's awesome.
Right. And then, you know, your senior year, you end up blowing your MCL and PCL, and then you never make any money as a pro anyway. And, you know.
Yeah, well, and at least they made it now in college. Good for them.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that. I love it. They need to let these kids make some money.
Yep, I agree.
Hey, Dean, we asked a lot of the fighters on the show, like Cheeto Vera last week and Brandon Moreno and stuff. And of course, I still classify you as a fighter in all standards in all ways. How do you feel about the exhibition boxing? And how do you feel about Victor Belfort boxing Oscar De La Hoya in September?
It's kind of fun, but I don't classify it. I don't look at it as if it's like anything related to what we do.
Right.
To me, I look at it as like, I don't know, it's just like some recreation, and I don't know, but it does teach us a very valuable lesson. It teaches us a very valuable lesson, those in MMA. And it's something I've been preaching for a long time. See, MMA fighters think they get paid to fight. And I always tell them, you don't get paid to fight. You get paid for people to watch you.
Right.
Fighting is just what you're doing while people are watching.
Yep.
And this proves it. This proves it, because these YouTubers are coming and they bringing in millions of people to watch them, and they making millions of dollars because people are watching them. It's not because they're fighting, it's because people are watching them. And this is something that fighters need to take note of, that you're not getting paid to fight. You're getting paid because people are watching you. Now, the better fighter you are, hopefully more people watch you, but regardless, get your stuff together and make sure you build your fan base.
It's similar if Jake Paul came in to play a game of horse with LeBron James. And then people would be like, well, man, the number 6 guy off the bench for the Spurs, he's not making enough money because, look, Jake Paul's making all this playing horse. It's like, it's not the same thing, man.
It's the saying is like this, guys. It's about putting asses in the seats, okay?
Exactly.
It comes down to the mother dollar, right? Asses in the seats. If you can ask, why is Conor McGregor making the money he makes? He's not a champion, but he's fighting. Asses in the seats, right? Jake Paul, Logan Paul, asses in the seats. Right. And if Tyron Woodley can make money off his fight with Jake Paul as a result of that, probably it's what he says is his biggest payday coming up. More power to Tyron. Take the gig.
Hey, what are your thoughts on that, Dean? Obviously, you've been real close with Tyron. You know, what does Tyron's straight boxing game look like?
Man, I actually think I think he's been kind of, misunderstood in terms of his striking in MMA, because he's relied on his right hand so much. But in the gym, he can box. Like when it's just boxing, when you're not worried about kicks and takedowns and things like that, when it's from a boxing distance, when you can put shoes on and lace up them gloves, he can box. The boy can box. As long as he goes out there and boxes Jake Paul, he ain't gonna have no problem. If he goes out there and, gets kind of deer in headlights and wants to just hit him with that right hand, then he might have a problem. But I think he boxes Jake Paul ears in all day long, because Tyron can box, man. People don't realize that. And I think they underestimating Tyron based on his performances in fights. They think he's just a power punching wrestler, but he can box.
Well, I'm with you on that. And in all respect to Ben Askren, the fine great MMA fighter he is, he's not a striker. And I'm just happy to see that there's somebody that has striking ability coming up and facing down, a fellow like Jake Paul. So everybody's going to watch that. Jake Paul signed a 7-fight deal, I think, with Showtime. He's got money in the bank coming in. How do you feel about Vitor Belfort boxing chance against Oscar De La Hoya?
Man, I mean, to me, I don't know, like De La Hoya is kind of a joke now, and like I don't like that. You know what I'm saying? Because like I grew up watching De La Hoya. I grew up watching De La Hoya fight, so like I always look at De La Hoya and be like, yo, that's that dude, man. And I don't look at him as just the guy everybody makes fun of, and Dana be roasting him, and he's high all the time. And to me, it's hard to watch that. I kind of want De La Hoya to come back and be De La Hoya and beat up Vitor Belfort. But I don't know if he's going to do that because, man, he's kind of the laughing stock of combat sports right now. And to me, that's sad. Like De La Hoya was De La Hoya.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? De La Hoya was that dude.
Yep.
Now he's the laughing stock. He on Triller, high and drunk. Dana White calling him names. I don't know, man. And to me, it's just like, I hate to see De La Hoya go out like this. I hope De La Hoya, I like Vitor, but I want to see De La Hoya put them hands on.
Oscar's going to be much smaller than Vitor, though, now.
Yeah, but in a skilled boxer situation, yes, he's going to be smaller. There's no question.
Skilled boxer, yeah, Bruce, but like, Dean highlights some pretty serious things about, the sort of lifestyle he's living right now. Like, that skill might not be what it was.
48 years old. You never know how somebody's going to turn out at 48 years old. We just saw Mayweather take on Logan, again, a larger man, and we'll see.
Who knows?
Exhibition boxing, folks. Exhibition boxing.
Right, and Vitor's probably going to come back looking like he's 21 years old again,
We'll see.
That's true. That's
Entertainment.
True.
Entertainment.
Vitor going to be on that horse meat. De La Hoya, De La Hoya going to be high.
Right.
See, this I don't like it. I don't like it.
No.
All right, let's hope for some good solid entertainment and some good skill boxing that we can see, because the young people watching, I'm happy they're coming into the sport of boxing. Well, whether they'll watch a Canelo fight after they watch Vitor Belfort and Oscar De La Hoya remains to be seen, but we'll see.
No,
we'll see.
They won't.
Bottom line, the UFC is blowing up, the ratings, everything, and I think that 264 is going to put us over the moon. Do you predict the usual 1.5 million plus buys for this show?
Oh yeah, I do, man. This card is sick. I mean, like you said, when Jessica Ai and Jennifer Maia are like
prelims,
prelims,
what are you talking about?
But to be fair, I mean, that's probably the carrot to get people to watch that. The Fight Pass prelim, the Fight Pass part of it.
For sure.
Yeah, no, they're plugging it in perfectly.
It's one of those cards that you can actually sacrifice from higher up to make the undercard better.
It's amazing though, we go from an audience sold out at T-Mobile to the next two shows again being without audiences at the Apex.
How is that?
Strange world, guys. Strange
world. Did you know that, Dean?
Yeah, how is that for you though? Because
for me?
Yeah,
I'm fine. It's me and the fighter. It's me and the warrior. I feel the energy from the audience, but I block it out, as I say on the show many times. When I'm announcing you guys, I'm looking into the eye of the tiger. I don't ever take my eyes off you. That's what
it really feels the same for you, Bruce, when there's nobody.
No, it's not the same. And a crowd will definitely energize me more.
Right. But in that moment, it feels the same when you're delivering the announcement?
No, there's a difference.
Okay.
There is a difference, of course. I'd be foolish to say there wasn't. But I still bring my all when the audience is not there. You're there, Dean. You see it. I don't fake it. I try to create the atmosphere as best as I can without going too over the top.
Hey, TJ, let me tell you, Bruce is a massive star, man. And I've seen it firsthand. Because I started working them shows, right? So I'm in the building, right? I am in the building sitting there, and I can always tell when Bruce walk in, because the crowd goes crazy when Bruce walk in the building. You got to see him, man. He start popping his collar. He walk in, and Bruce just turns on, man. It's a beautiful thing, TJ. You got to see it.
Oh, why do you think I've been riding his coattails for this long in this podcast, Dean? I tapped my wagon to the right horse.
Thank you, Dean. Dean, like I always say, just call me Bruce, man. I'm just going in to do my job, have a good time. And the show is not about me. It's about you, the fighters. And to me, it's about the fans. And I'm there to serve you.
Bruce.
Uncle Bruce is fine. I'll take it all day long. Dean, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. Like I said, we've been friends for so long, and I'm proud of you and great to see everything's going on. Just remember that where there's snow on top, there's still fire in the furnace. So you're doing okay with the gray. It's all good.
Yeah. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And thank you for having me on, TJ. You, my boy. Hopefully we catch up soon. And I see that little bottle back there behind you, Bruce. Hopefully, I'm saying, I don't drink, but I still be having parties, man. I need to get me some of that.
Tell you what, send
Dean, 20-year-olds love Puncher's Chance.
Do they?
Do me a favor. Now that Dean asked,
idea.
I wasn't gonna do another plug, but now that Dean asked, you know what, Dean? We just won 3 gold medals for taste, the best tasting bourbon in America, and 3 gold medals for the best design bottle.
No kidding. I mean, that's a bottle right there, boy.
Do me a favor, TJ, text Dean and I on the same text trail, and Dean text back an address, and I'll have a bottle sent out to you. Okay?
That's awesome. I appreciate that.
Yeah. If you
Word.
give me a little picture back, if you like it, take a little taste. If you like it, give me a little
Yeah.
picture back. That's all I ask.
Perfect. All right,
Punch your
fellas.
chance, Dean. That's what you're all about, baby.
Punch your chance.
One punch could change it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't
Thank
hurt
you to Dean.
yourself, Dean.
Thank you to Dean Thomas for plugging Puncher's Chance Bourbon instead of me bringing it up. Very cool.
All right,
All
Dean,
right,
I'll see you out there in Vegas.
All right, man. See y'all. Peace.
All right, Dean.
Yeah.
Take care. Cheers.
Truly one of the best in the business, Dean Thomas, one of my favorite people.
One of the nicest guys in the world. Just a great guy and great fighter, great guy, and proving that he's good at everything else he does. Real proud of him.
Yeah,
Very,
he's
very good.
improv comic. He does a little bit of stand up.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I
You
didn't
know
know
that?
that.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
going to talk to him about that.
he's truly a man of many talents, and I'm not just saying that, to be, compliment. Like the dude made me a candle. Think about that, Bruce. He made me a candle. I don't even know how to make a candle.
Wow.
I hardly know how to light a candle.
All right. Well, we'll work on that too.
All right.
All right, TJ, let's
Anything
go.
you want to hit on before we get out of here?
No, just life is good, and everybody have a wonderful July 4th is all I want to wish everybody to have, and
Can I
enjoy the
say
freedom
something
that
real
we
quick?
share and the country and the world in which we live.
This is episode 499 of It's Time.
Well, next week I think we're having Megan Ogilvy on the show.
Olivia.
Olivia.
I won't tell her you
There we
said
go again. Don't
Ogilvy.
tell I said that.
Okay.
And then
We're both going to be on the ground next week in Vegas. I'm there from Tuesday to Sunday. I'm hoping we can maybe catch up and do something. Maybe not necessarily It's Time. We're going to do It's Time. I'll be out there when we do it. But when we get you on the ground, maybe we can link up and get together a little bit.
no worries, all good. Let's see what I was going to tell you. That's fine. I'm going to be quarantined again. Friday.
No, I understand that. I will be as well, because I'm doing that whole thing just like you are. But yeah, we'll try to make something happen. We're doing a post show on Fight Pass, I believe, at the MGM Grand Garden Arena after the event. Maybe you can stop by. I know you don't want to be around the people, but if we can get like a quarantined route for you to get out there, we'd love to have you if you have time.
Yeah, whatever's possible. We'll see. I'm supposed to appear with Steve Aoki later that night, but
It's
let's
literally in
just
the
get through
same
show.
building. It's in the same building. So
You'll be at T-Mobile on the show.
I will not be at T-Mobile for the show. I will be across the street at the MGM Grand.
All right, we'll figure something out.
sounds
got
good.
it. All right, buddy. All right, listen. See you next week. Megan will
For
be on the show.
500.
That's the plan for 500. Let's do it right. DraftKings, or rather, not DraftKings, rather, they're the sponsor for
FanDuel.
the UFC. FanDuel coming in. See, that's it. I got to say DraftKings of the UFC, but I'm an ambassador for FanDuel, and they do a great job. So just check my Instagram for announcements there. But got a little special thing we'll do with FanDuel next week, and I'm excited about that.
I will duel anyone on FanDuel.
You what?
I
You'll
will
duel anyone?
duel anyone on FanDuel. You and I, we should take on the listeners.
Let's do it. No,
I'll try to throw punches like Dean Thomas, but not at all with the same technique or flair.
well, everybody get your bets in, get whatever you're going to do. Go to FanDuel. They've got everything you need there. They'll take care of you, especially with the upcoming UFC 264. And next week, we're going to talk a lot more FanDuel with Megan, and we'll have a great show and have a great weekend. Happy July 4th, everybody. TJ, take care. Have the best. Stay safe. Enjoy
Holy
the fireworks.
crap. I
down
just
in your
realized
area.
it's my 11-year wedding anniversary.
Happy anniversary on that one, too.
Probably do something.
I hope you do. You better.
Whoops.
I'm sure you're expected to.
Buffer, I might need your help.
Whatever, just let me know. All
Son
good.
of a bitch. All right. Let's
All
go.
right. On that note, everybody take care, set your goals, write them down, learn everything you can about them before you set on that path, the golden path to life. And when you walk down that path, just be the best you can be, because that means you're winning. Be the best you can be in everything you do. Stay positive and enjoy life. Big cheers, no fears, everybody. Buffer out. See you next week.